Today, myself and Bianca will be addressing the developmental issues that Mia is facing and providing intervention which we believe can assist Mia and improve her well-being in a school environment.
The vignette states that Mia is physically more mature than her peers, which makes her an early maturing female. This is a biological developmental issue which places her in the at-risk category. Pubertal timing is correlated with negative or positive outcomes depending on early or late maturation. Dawn et al. Define puberty as the specific set of processes that are involved in physical and reproductive development. This pubertal development influences aspects of physiology, behavior, motivation, emotional, and even cognitive development. Research shows that early pubertal timing is associated with negative outcomes for girls. Early pubertal timing has also been correlated to higher rates of mental illnesses or disorders, substance abuse, precocious sexual activity, delinquency, and school issues. Senior et al. Note that early maturing females may struggle with the social and emotional demands that come with the transition into puberty. Furthermore, being an early maturing female places Mia at risk as a target of cyberbullying, which, as we see in the vignette, is negatively impacting her school life. Ruby will now discuss the social and emotional developmental issues present in the vignette.
Social and emotional development during adolescence involves learning how to cope with stress and manage emotions. Mia has 2 trustworthy friends, however, she struggles to form multiple relationships. Maintaining healthy relationships is a result of being emotionally and socially competent, which also benefits confidence levels, performance at school, and provides a greater sense of mastery when taking on challenging tasks. In addition to competence, social and emotional learning is the process through which students learn how to apply their skills and knowledge in order to manage emotions, achieve goals, feel empathy for others, and maintain positive relationships, all of which can contribute to a student's overall emotional intelligence. According to Solovey and Mayer, emotional intelligence refers to the ability to monitor your own and others' emotions and use this information as a guide on how to think and act. So perhaps a lack of emotional intelligence is what prevents Mia from forming multiple friendships and contributes to her struggles at being a target for online bullying. In order for Mia to further develop emotional intelligence, peer mentoring sessions would be an option for her to consider. A peer mentoring intervention supported by regular counselling may help assist and guide Mia with the issues she's facing. Research by Courtney Davenport in the paper Cross-Age Peer Mentoring for At-Risk Youth, a Grant Proposal Project, suggests that peer mentoring can be used as a protective factor to increase school attendance, academic performance, and overall well-being. Furthermore, Davenport's research indicates that peer mentoring increases the protective factors of participation in extracurricular activities and bonding to school. Peer mentoring also fosters supportive relationships which can assist in social and emotional development.
The peer mentoring intervention will buddy Mia up with another student and they can meet 1 to 2 times a week within school hours. Mia excels and has interests in sports and visual arts, so during the mentoring program, they may engage in sport or visual art activities together. Pairing Mia up with an older peer mentor such as a senior year 11 or 12 student who also excels in these areas may assist her in many ways. Firstly, she will be able to develop a relationship with an older peer who has similar interests, which will also assist her social emotional development. Secondly, the peer mentor can keep her accountable for attending classes as they meet on a regular basis. The peer mentor will also act as a relatable role model for Mia to discuss her issues with, and also encourage time away from her mobile phone. The peer mentoring intervention will need to also be supported by visits to the school counsellor to ensure Mia is receiving adequate support. Also, it is contingent on an appropriate peer mentor with similar interests to Mia being available within the school.
Student learning, engagement, and participation in lessons will be an important aspect of my classroom, as it's an indication that I'm doing my job correctly by providing all necessary means of support and resources to help the students. Adolescent development theory, research, and practice has influenced my personal teaching approach, as it provides insight to not only the physical changes adolescents endure, but the psychological as well. Throughout this course, I've learned about the biological foundations that adolescents experience during this phase of their lives. What interested me specifically was the significant impact that pubertal timing has on students' well-being and their ability to learn. Providing strategies which take into consideration the emotional and psychological well-being of students is vital when creating a safe school environment. Doing so can potentially reduce risk factors such as eating disorders, depressed mood, substance use, negative body image, and delinquency in boys and girls. Lawrence Steinberg believes that adolescence is a time of heightened vulnerability and emotion, and found that pubertal timing is something that contributes to this. He highlights the many issues associated with being a late maturing student, such as lower self-esteem. This occurs in both boys and girls. Students who mature late may be the subject of teasing and develop negative body image. As a future PDHPE teacher, in order to prevent this from occurring in my classroom, there are specific strategies I will implement. First and foremost, I will be understanding if students have the desire to use private areas to get changed into their sport uniform during a practical lesson. For example, if a student asks if there's an alternative area for getting changed aside from the communal change room, I can suggest another bathroom with a door and a lock, or even a classroom that's not occupied. In doing so, I hope the student feels supported and their psychological well-being is improved. In addition to this, I will ensure that throughout my lessons, students will learn that physical and psychological and reproductive changes are normal parts of adolescence. According to the Department of Education, the PDHPE syllabus includes learning about the physical, social, and emotional changes which occur during adolescence. Ensuring I teach this component of the syllabus in an empathetic and engaging way will ensure the students understand the many implications of being an adolescent, thus preventing not only self-critique and judgment, but preventing the likelihood of bullying their peers.
There are many concepts that I have learnt across this unit of study that I will be able to apply to my teaching profession. One of them being the importance of social and emotional development to support students' well-being, as well as cognitive load theory, or more specifically, avoiding high intrinsic load for novice learners and vice versa. Sweller's 1994 cognitive load theory article defines intrinsic load as the inherent difficulty of the subject matter being taught. Intrinsic load is affected by the complexity of the material and the learner's prior knowledge. I would utilise my knowledge on intrinsic load when preparing lessons for my English KLA. For novice essay writing students, such as Year 7 or 8, I would scaffold an essay paragraph for them with explicit outlines and instructions, so they can develop a schema for the essay writing and paragraphs. The scaffold may look something like this. This scaffold walks learners through the simple steps of paragraph writing. Once they have mastered this, they can move on to more complex writing of multiple paragraphs and then essays. The Centre for Social Emotional Learning, or CASEL, informs Australia's national curriculum. CASEL outlines self-awareness and self-management as essential skills students need to adopt as part of their social and emotional development. I would target these two specific areas in my KLA of English through a journaling activity. Students may be given 10 minutes per week in a chosen lesson where they can journal to reflect on their week. This will give students time to slow down, consider their feelings, decompress any stress they are feeling, and plan out their next few days. Point 7 of the Australian Professional Standards for Teachers outlines to engage professionally with colleagues, parents, carers, and the community. A scenario where I may need to display this professionalism would be parent-teacher interviews. The Department of Education has published a guide titled Teacher's Guide to Parent-Teacher Communication to assist teachers with this process. Based on this guide, I would be prepared for the interview, encourage participation from the parent, begin with positives and then discuss areas of support. Finally, areas of improvement that both myself and the parent can help the student with.